Thank you so much, Michaela. Yeah. Now we have Lenita again with a beautiful song, I guess. Hey, Baba. This is a request from Shailaja.
Yeah. Okay, Jai Baba. Sally, thank you. Okay, oh God, beautiful. 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 At your feet we do bow. At your feet we do bow. Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful. In the forest you are green. In the forest you are green. In the mountain you are high. In the mountain you are high. In the river you are restless. In the river you are restless. In the ocean you are brave. In the ocean you are brave. Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful. To the merciful, you are mercy. To the merciful, you are mercy. To the lover, you are love. To the lover, you are love. To the sorrowful, you are sympathy. To the sorrowful, you are sympathy. To the blissful, you are bliss. To the blissful, you are bliss. Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful. Oh, beautiful. At your feet we do bow. At your feet we do bow. Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful.
Jai Baba.
Thank you, Jai Baba.
Beautiful, Lenita.
Thank you so much, Lanita. That was so very sweet of you. Very sweet.
Thank you for letting me sing, for allowing me to sing again tonight.
Baba,
Thank you.
let's all sing. Yeah. Now we have Al once again here. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba again. Believe it or not, after I sang, I went through my whole songbook and I cannot find that song on Surrender. I know I know John Denver's song of Surrender by Heart, but this one I'm not sure of. So I think Baba made it disappear, but for a good reason. Because I went through my whole songbook, I found 2 or 3 songs I haven't sung in a long time that I feel are my favorite and very beautiful songs. So I'm going to sing one of them now. The tune to this song is a Spanish song called La Paloma. I think some of you might have heard this before. A lot of people, Julio Iglesias, Nana Muscuri, a lot of people sung this song. But this is that tune with English verse, and I have Connie Francis here as being one of the ones that sung this song, but I'm sure other people have as well. So this is actually La Paloma in English with English words. It's not really a translation of it, but it's about love, God's love. So here it goes. Yes, Baba, your love is the one most wonderful thing I own. Your love is the greatest joy I have ever known. Your smile, I can see it even when we're apart. I feel like a part of your love is in my heart. I'll never forget the night that we met, my Baba. One touch of your hand and I felt your heart in mine. You held me and said you'd love me forever, darling. Forever, my love, you said that you'd be mine. Oh, Baba, your love is the one most wonderful thing I own. Your love is the greatest joy I have ever known. Your smile, I can see it even when we're apart. I feel like a part of your love's become my heart. Yes, even when you are gone, my love will go on. I will always be true to you, my Meher. I will always love you. Yes, Baba, you are my one love. Baba, you are my one and only love. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. Thanks again, Al.
Jai
Wonderful.
Baba.
Thank you. Now we have all the night owls here. Jeff, Ganesh, and Alan, and the rest of the people, March and Lisa, and everybody. Jeff, go ahead.
Well, I mean,
What's your thought for the day?
what's that?
What's your thought for the day? I said.
I was trying to find a conversation between Erich and Dr. Kenmore, but I can't seem to find it. Well, I'll tell you just, and I've mentioned this before, it was something that Harry, this is after Baba dropped his body, Harry was talking with Erich and saying that that he says, people talk about feeling Baba's presence, and he was a little bit bothered about feeling, people talk about feeling his presence. And at one point, Harry said, what we have to become, he's saying this to Erich, we have to become his residents. And Eric said, write that down. Don't forget that. To become his residence. What does that mean? I mean, there's one thing, I'm feeling Baba's presence. What does it mean to feel? What does it mean to become his residence? Anybody? I mean, that's all that was said. They didn't really detail it, but how does that, how would you interpret that?
There are a lot of songs out there in Hindi where he says, I want to be in your darbar. So darbar is basically
Yeah.
the court of
Yeah.
the kings and God, basically. I mean, here darbar means basically a
Yeah.
gathering. I mean, a court where
Yeah.
people gather. So, I mean, I presume that's what probably it means, that you want to
To
be in the
be
court.
in his darbar, or become his darbar.
Become.
I don't know, but I think at least you want to be in his darbar.
Uh-huh. This is going a step further to become
Okay.
his darbar. Wait one
Right.
second. We got this Mustangs and motorcycles out here on the highway, and they're making so much noise. I got to close the door here.
Oh, they're still there? I'm surprised. I mean, so late.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought,
they are back.
go ahead.
They are back this
They
weekend.
are back with a vengeance.
I think this is the same
Go
thing
ahead.
that you mentioned a day,
Green house
like a couple of days back, where you said that one should become like the wire, just passing the current. So you become the resident, like where the God resides in. So you have to become the residence.
Yeah. How would you describe that?
Is you become the instrument for God, and you're like the puppet, and he plays with that puppet. So becoming that puppet.
Yeah. If anybody, I mean, I think I mentioned, if anybody comes to you, all they're going to get is Guru Prasad. They're not going to get anything else. Everything I mean, not that you overtly talk about Baba, but everything that comes out of you has been dipped in Baba and given away. There's no kind of you have no private residence. I mean, that's kind of what it meant to me. There's not about, oh, I'm feeling Baba over there. You are, yeah, you are the residence.
anyway, you are in his presence all the time. The problem is in this world of duality, you always, until Baba gives us that gift of being one with him, you always see him as somebody out there, obviously with this beautiful attributes of compassion, love, and everything. So in a way, to me, being in his darbar, in his presence, appeals to me the most because at least that's something I can visualize.
Yeah. No, it's or the Sufi tavern is what
Right.
the way Hafiz refers to that. Rather than being like, oh, I'm just a little old soul here and there are all these other people, you become the whole thing.
That's the next step.
Eric used to say, float it by. But hey, Michaela, I did do that song because we were Peter and I were having to do something else. But
Oh, that's okay. I
The-
understand. You guys are
the
busy.
thing that you just read, I was with just a half hour ago. I was with Trish and Migdal,
Ah,
and then you read her poem. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, there's the Sufi tavern. Oh, anyway, that was something that I brought up. Oh yeah, Erich used to say from time to time, this whole world is yours, but you have to claim it as your own with a capital O. I mean, it takes tremendous audacity. Oh, no, 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 I'm here and that's your property over there. And that's his property and that's Lanita's apartment. You know, everybody has their thing. The whole thing belongs to you and you have to look after it. Does that make sense? I mean, that he used to float that by, and it always really, I mean, like a trial balloon. And I'd say, "Whoa, wow, that's Erich is saying something that's completely over and above the way we normally think of Baba."
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to distract you from the thought,
Yeah,
but we had a discussion. I mean, we have a smaller group that goes through discourses and all that stuff.
yeah,
And somewhere suddenly somebody mentioned about the power of God's form, His body, and then there was a story that happened to be related, and the story goes, you guys know about uh, King Rama and the Avatar Rama and his wife Sita. And there was this demon king by name Ravana. I guess you all can probably remember that. So what happens is this demon king Ravana abducts Sita and takes her to his kingdom. And then he is highly enamored by her beauty and everything. And he wants to make her his wife or things like that. But he has a curse. He cannot forcibly marry her because if he does that without the consent of the lady, then he'll meet his end, the death. So that's the curse. So now he's hell-bent upon trying to convince Sita that you should really, think about marrying me and so on and so forth because he likes her very much. And this goes on for a while, and then all his efforts seem to go in vain. And he tries everything on earth to please her. Seeing his plight, his actual wife, her name is Mandodari, she, even though she doesn't like the idea of Ravana about his being caught up in the net of Sita, she says, well, I mean, look, I mean, I can't bear my husband's plight. So at least let me give him a suggestion. And she says, okay, Sita obviously is highly devoted to Lord Rama. Why don't you become and assume the shape of Rama because you have this capacity in you and go to her, then she might probably, get deceived and fall in love with you. And then your wish is fulfilled. But then Ravana says, look, don't you think I haven't tried this? I have tried that. But then the moment I assumed the form of Rama, I had no, willingness to, I was not enamored by her anymore. I just, there was no lust in me anymore. And that's the that's the power of Baba's form, they say, I mean, Lord's form.
yeah. Wow. Beautiful.
And
Yeah.
that was intense. I mean, when I heard that, it was beautiful. Sorry to distract you from the thought. I mean,
No,
I'm sure.
no, that's, I mean, in a way, you
But
be,
still,
by becoming Baba, I mean, that he even tried to do it,
Hmm.
which is what we're really supposed to be trying to do. Everything changes.
Yeah. I
Maybe
mean,
then
that's,
I'm still trying to get you, Jeff, when you say, Erich used to say you have to claim it, you own the world, and you have to, I'm still trying to get what that means. So if you can help on that, that
well, this is what Erich kind of conveyed is that through love, things that are on the outside, you you internalize. I mean, I gave you the example. If you love birds and you get into birds and you know their names, you know their songs, and you go out and in the woods and you find them and you make your list of birds. After a while, the birds are flying around inside of you. You've incorporated all the birds inside of yourself, so that you expand. So any person, types of person, if you love kids and you enjoy kids and you delight in them, after a while, you've got a playground inside of you. Every kid knows that, and they'll go to that playground that's inside of you. In other words, you've claimed the children of the world for yourself. For Baba, you mean for yourself, meaning a capital Y, yourself. So this whole world is yours, but you have to claim it. Through love, what's on the outside, you bring inside.
all of you
So,
imbibe their consciousness into you.
yeah, you know that they're inside of you. You get the
can,
experience that they're no longer outside of you because of love, they're now on the inside of you.
hmm, okay.
Is that kind of,
Yeah, I'm trying to connect to that, still trying to get. So, like, if
breaking down the
I mean, when
separation?
you give the example of the birds, so if I love the birds, then I'll do a whole lot of study, watching them, reading over on the internet all about them, and kind of get an idea of it and connect to it at a better level. So and so how does that internalized part? I'm still trying to get the internalized part of it.
Just how they, how they how they get inside of you. um, I mean, one of the things that breaks down is your separation between you and the birds. You can see that you and the birds, that separation. I'm a human being and they're birds. After a while, they are the separation between you and them gets more and more transparent until they start to fly around in you. You are tickled internally by the birds, by seeing them. Your heart is delighted by seeing their habits and their feeding of their young and all of that. It all now is kind of starting to happen inside of you. Even though it's happening outside of you, you're experiencing also it's happening inside of you. And
So that's definitely, it takes a lot of love, basically, right? Like Mehra used to feel uh, when she was behind the curtains, when Baba was giving darshan, she would think that, I mean, not think, she would feel Baba's perspiration around the neck and ears and all that stuff. And she would send a message to Erich to go and make sure that his neck is wiped and, so on and so forth. And that kind of love, I believe.
yeah,
So you become one in some way. I mean, you start to feel your consciousness is like fused.
yeah. I mean, it's like a universal empathy, but it has to be done bit by bit. It's not like you just go out, hey, well, you know, I'm empathetic toward everyone. There's certain types of people that we keep at a distance. So we have to break down that distance so that we can feel closer to them and closer and closer until they're inside of us. I don't know, Michaela, what do you think?
Yeah, that's a lot to process. I like the thing about the birds. You know, you mentioned the kids, and actually I was thinking about Betty because she's been, you know, such a pillar and everything dealing with kids for a long time, and she
Yeah.
has you know, that playground inside of her.
Yeah.
You know, you can just tell by meeting her for 2 seconds, she's already imbibed all that. She's become a kid, you know, inside because she's been with kids.
Yeah.
And you know, she used to take care of all the kids at Marana and the LA Sahavas, and you know, I grew up with her. But yeah, anyway, she was just like imbibing all that. So that's pretty awesome to see that in someone.
Yeah. And in a way, she's made that playground inside of her Baba's residence. I
Right.
mean, it becomes Baba's, you know, well, she's become his residence,
Yeah.
you know.
He's
By,
working through her also, you
what's
know,
that?
he's working through her
Yeah.
also in that playground inside of her.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, and hey, Alan, what you doing over there? There is a beautiful song that Adrian has written that we really need to hear. It is, I heard a recording of it. I mean, and it's written kind of in the, you know, with the pandemic in mind. Hello, Alan.
Okay.
Hey, is Adrian there?
Yeah, she's downstairs though. I could get her.
Well, there's at one point, well, two things. One is she wrote a song called Singing and Surrender, something like that.
Oh yeah, yeah,
A very beautiful song which she plays on the piano.
yeah.
And I was trying to, if she would, I mean, it'd be nice if she would play it for us tonight, but it would also be nice if she would play that, tune in about 10 minutes before the end of Effort and Grace and sing that song.
Okay, like on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, no pressure, but I mean, if it would certainly be beautiful for people to hear that song.
Yeah, sure, sure. Yeah, I can ask her when we're in a little bit here and see if she can
Yeah.
play it. Yeah. How are you doing? How's everybody doing?
Yeah, we're doing good. We were talking about something that Harry Kenmore, you know, you've heard that before, become his residence and what that means.
In his residence.
But anything that you have to bring up.
I feel like that when you make yourself Baba's residence, there's nothing of you anymore. You know, it's only Baba, because Baba resides in you. So there's no room for you. There's no room for your ego. You know, the ego is gone. It's only, you know, Baba totally took every single space inside of you. Your mind, your soul, your eyes, your mouth, your ears, your nose, you know. So he's residing. He's here. He's living here. You know, there is nothing else. You know, that's how I feel when you say Baba's, you know, make yourself his residence. Residence means I live in a place. I'm inside that place. So he'll be inside me, you know, and I don't know, that's how I feel right now in this moment, that then there's no room for me, you know, anymore. I'm not, you know, like you always said about, you know, Darren Sharp, talking about being hollow. You know, you're hollow. When you hollow, then Baba can reside. Baba can get inside of you and live there. Then you make yourself residence, because everything that's you is not there. You know, you hollow yourself. Remember, we read about, effort and grace many times. We read this passage that Darwin Shaw's talking about being hollow.
Yeah, being Kitty used to say, one of Kitty's favorite lines from the Bible was, "Not I, but Christ liveth in me."
Yeah.
Christ.
Yep.
Where where you've cleared out enough of the debris in the warehouse that Baba can be the occupant.
Mm-hmm.
You're the shell, and he's the one that lives. And you're the house, and he's the one that lives in the house. That's now this was Erich and Harry Kenmore talking. Now Erich is kind of walking just this tightrope between the finite and the infinite world, infinity, and so is Harry. I mean, these guys are, because Baba said Harry was going to be a perfect master in his next life. So these guys are right. They're just about to slip off into infinity. So we're getting a conversation at that level.
So next life, or he said in one of his future lives, in a future life of his, or was it for Harry Conmore, did Baba say in his next life?
I think he said in his next life he would be a perfect master. Was he a powerhouse? He was, yeah.
I don't know much about Harry Kenmore.
Yeah.
So Baba said that Harry Kenmore is going to be a perfect master next
in his next life. Yeah.
Oh, his next life. Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, he was.
You said the same thing about Gandhi, right?
Gandhi, 3 lives, right?
3 lifetimes. Yeah.
He has to take 3 lives.
Who, Gandhi?
Yeah.
Yes.
Gandhi is going to take 3 lives. Oh, see.
Yeah, he's a little bit slow on the uptake.
He's going to do a lot of fasting, These 3 next lives. Lots of fasting, poor guy.
If you think of 84 lakhs, that's almost nothing. 84 lakhs of reincarnations.
There was someone had a T-shirt which was it said 84 lakhs of lives minus 1. That was the T-shirt. I mean, I can tell you a little bit about Harry Kenmore, but I don't know if you're interested, but
yes, please.
I spent some good time with him, real quality time. But
I'm good. You can share if others are good.
What about you, Alan? You want to hear a little about Dr. Kenmore?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, this is just from stuff that he told me, and a little bit that I heard from others. But so anyway, he grew up in New York. His actual last name was Klein. He was Jewish. And he grew up in New York, and he was very popular, very, he was in drama, acting, singer and everything. He was quite a larger-than-life character. But his parents, they knew that he might go blind at some point, but they didn't tell him. And one day when he woke up in the morning, he couldn't see. He was 16 years old, and he was so upset that his parents hadn't given him some forewarning. But it changed his whole life. He was very resentful for becoming blind. I mean, he was kind of outraged at it. And his parents told him, you know, back then, the occupation of someone who was blind, one of the occupations was to push a wheel, I mean, a cart around in Manhattan on the streets and sell rags. That was a type of work reserved for the blind. So his parents said, why don't you just go get a cart and sell rags? Well, he was highly insulted by that, and he, I mean, so he actually renounced his parents. He changed his name to Kenmore, from Klein to Kenmore. But so what he did is he hooked up with uh, started taking hopping on trains and joined a circus, and he was a part of a circus, and he sang, and even though he was blind, he was helped around. And he even said that he learned how to hypnotize whole groups of people by just the inflection in his voice and everything. He could actually hypnotize people. So he did a whole lot of stuff. He did it for a number of years. And then he came back to New York because he wanted to kind of settle down.
Mm.
And he had a buddy of his who was studying chiropractic. And so I mean, this is all that I kind of gathered, things that he told me in that. And so he decided to become a chiropractor. And his buddy helped him out, being blind. And I think he took the X-rays, and he had a skeleton so that he could, you know, show how things were out in the vertebrae and everything like that. So Harry Kenmore became a chiropractor, but he became kind of a renowned chiropractor. In fact, he got to the point where he could, I mean, I had friends who, from a distance, he could give you a chiropractic adjustment, remote control, and you could feel click, 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 click.
What?
Yeah,
From a distance?
yeah. He told me he could remove entities from people, you know, cast out spirits. He said a great many people in this country were possessed by spirits. He also told me that well, at one point, well, he told me at one point he um, passed through the fourth plane of infinite power. He had that experience. But one of the things that, you know, after some time of being a chiropractor, he decided to meditate, and he began meditating. He meditated for 10 years, he told me. But for Harry Kenmore, he was so intense that 10 years is like 200 years for most people. But during that time, among other things, at one time in a meditation, suddenly he could see his office.
Mm.
You know, he could see because he went above the physical eye, which is blind, to his inner eye. So he was able to see in these heightened states of consciousness.
Mhm.
But here's one of the things is that he got into his past lives, and he could see the whole unfoldment of his past lives, and there was no reason for. He saw that there was no reason why he should have been blind. There was no karmic reason for his blindness. I
Mm.
don't know how he figured that out, but boy, that infuriated him all the more, you know. And so anyway, what happened is he had a great reputation, and he was a healer and everything. One day, either Adele Walken or Margaret Krass came to see him for chiropractic, and then they told him about Baba, and I think he got instantly drawn to Baba. And so I think he met Baba in '56 in New York, but I know that he went in to see Baba in the Lagoon Cabin in 1956, Myrtle Beach. And one of the things that after kind of the interaction with Baba and exchange and everything, he said to Baba, "Why did I become blind?" And Baba said, "I created your blindness. You were destined to become a renowned world-renowned surgeon, but you wouldn't have had time for me."
Wow.
And that is the first time ever he accepted his blindness. And because he was blind, if he had been a world-renowned surgeon, he would have been in the beck and call of all the royalty and wealthy people of the world. But as a chiropractor, he could even put his practice over to his partner and come and be with Baba for extended periods. In fact, he may have been the one that was enabled Baba to walk again after the second accident. He worked on Baba a lot as a chiropractor. And so he was quite a character. One time he kind of like, for example, near Guru Prasad, there's a place called Bun Gardens. It's kind of a beautiful place. So he calls up Baba and says, "Baba, can I come and see you?" You know, yeah, I think I'm. And Baba says, "Where are you?" "I'm in Bun Gardens, just down the street." You know what I mean? He didn't write ahead and say, "Baba, can I come and see you?" He just like goes to Bun Gardens there and gets in touch with Baba from there. And Baba says, "Okay, come." So he had various ways of coming to see Baba. He called him Pops.
Pops.
Called Baba Pops. Pop.
Wow.
Baba wrote him on Valentine. He said, well, here's one of the things that Baba said. He had all these abilities, these powers and healing abilities. He told me when he got into Baba put a curtain around him and cut him off from all of the psychic abilities and power that he had. They still showed up, but he was no longer using these things. Baba said, "Just stay in there in this little closet inside the curtain and remember me."
Hmm.
That's what he said.
Yes. What is this pop-up that you said? What is it?
Huh?
Pop-up?
That's
is
what
this?
Dr. Kenmore called Baba.
Oh, pops.
Pop.
Ah.
Yeah. My pop is what he called him. Yeah.
What is this noise?
Uh-oh. Is there some noise?
I can't hear it.
But he was, oh, there he is.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
I don't know how you guys do this, but it's amazing. Born 1910. So I met him when he was 60.
Well, he died in 1971.
Yeah. Maybe 69.
2 years after Baba dropped his body, so Harry Kenmore passed away. Just 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff, did he have family?
He did,
Mm-hmm.
but I never did meet. He had a daughter,
Okay.
but I never met her.
Hey,
There he is.
there's the spot that I was thinking about,
Yeah,
Jeff.
that's the place. Yeah. And that's Harry on the far right in the pink shirt.
Yeah.
And who's this?
Huh. That might have been, that could have been one of the Hernandez boys. I think the guy behind him is one of the Eaton boys. but I can't quite see well enough. This is a time when Baba was, there's a bowl right there that Erich is holding. There's a beautiful scene of Baba throwing prasad in the form of candies to everybody around in a semicircle. And it is so alive and animated because Baba's flipping stuff and people are diving for it. And it's really some scene. And you might be able to capture it sometime, see the footage of it. It's maybe, 10 seconds of footage. Yep, that's the spot. Yeah, there he's throwing. You see in the act of throwing. Oh, that little guy right there, I think that is Larry Karish, it might be.
Oh yeah, it looks like him.
And Larry Karish was, you know, Harry Kenmore was really kind of like a father figure for him, you might say, or
Yeah, he was
uncle.
Jeff, in fact, Jeff, sorry for the interruption. In
Yeah,
fact, Larry Thatcher himself has written the book called Harry,
yeah,
and where remarks about that Baba used to like his reputation of master's prayer.
yeah,
Baba used to say, because so loudly, he used to say so loudly, and you have,
Larry.
you might have, not the Harry Kenmore.
yeah,
Larry
know,
Used to
wrote a
recite the
book
prayer.
about.
there's a
Book by
lot,
Larry Thatcher.
there's a
Yeah,
lot of
Larry.
pictures of Harry
Yeah,
really close to Baba.
yeah,
I'm noticing.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
there's a lot of, I don't see that many. I mean, besides Erich, I mean, he's in a lot of these pictures. He's in close quarters with Baba, which is, and I think that's the book you're talking about.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. How do I?
In fact, I had an opportunity to hear Larry's master's prayer reciting in 62 and also in 65 Dash.
Is there a recording of that prayer? Is there a?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there, available. It's available even in the that's called In the House of My Master. That's a CD made by, I think, Bob Frederick. No, Bob Fredericks, I think. In that, I think so. There are many CDs where we got, even in some of the old CDs, you can see the Baba's prayers so
Mhm.
loudly,
Yeah.
and it's available.
And Baba said
Maybe
he
you
went
can
up
ask,
7
Balaji, he'll give you, Ganesh.
Yeah.
Okay,
He
sure.
can tell you.
Yes. Yeah.
Baba said he went up 7 flights to deliver that master's prayer. And I mean, I heard it many times, and he'd be in a room, and it was so powerful and loud that the way I would picture it is like be a hurricane coming through, and through a coastal town, and the shutters on the windows are flapping, and suddenly they're gone, and trees are gone, and everything. And by the time he's done with the prayer, everything has been laid waste. All whatever you were thinking of, whatever you were going through was gone. I mean, he just demolished the impressions that were in the room, you might say.
And you said there's a recording of this?
There is somewhere, yeah, but it
Huh.
couldn't be anything like it in the present. I mean, you didn't have a single thought after he finished that prayer. I mean, it just demolished. I mean, for a time being, your impressions were blown out of the
Wait,
blown
were you
inland.
there when he said these prayers at one point?
Yeah, quite a few times.
A few times.
Yeah.
Where, Jeff? At the in India?
No,
Or
no, on
here?
72nd Street, West 72nd Street in New York, Manhattan. Yeah,
New York.
yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
I mean, here was a turning point in my life with him. I mean, among other things, I I went there. I didn't know. I'll tell you that story sometime. But I went to him. I was hanging out and everything. And one day he said, "What are you going to do with your life?" Now I didn't have any. I didn't have. I mean, I wasn't in any career at all, but I've been trying to write, write a novel or write stuff for years. And I read on notebooks and everything, but I never showed anybody. I was just never could complete anything, and I felt embarrassed to show anybody what I was doing. And he, asked me, "What do you want to be in this life?" And I kind of shyly said, "I want to be a writer."
What did you say?
I want to be a writer, a writer.
Oh,
Mm.
oh. But you were a painter
He
also,
says-
right?
Huh?
So
You used to be a painter also. You paint, you
Yeah.
you draw and you paint. It. Remember?
Fine art.
Remember that?
This was after that. He
Oh.
says, "Do you love writing?" And I bent my head down. I went completely blank, and I said, "No."
Hmm.
Huh?
He said, "Yes, if you loved writing, you would be writing even on the napkins in restaurants. You would be writing all over the place."
Yes.
So, I mean, I agonized over this for some years, and he removed that from me
Wow.
because I didn't have the love for it to carry me through.
So he removed from you this.
Well, just I got my answer from my soul, and my soul said no.
How he did it that?
Huh?
How he did it that? Obama did it or Henry Kenmore?
Well, Harry asked me that question, and
Yeah.
from a deep place, and I answered from the deep place within me. Yeah,
And then was gone?
yeah.
You never wrote again?
No, I mean, later on, but at that period of my life, I did not love writing,
Hmm.
even though I thought that's what I wanted to do. Yeah.
Wow. So he was sort of like it sounds like he was a bit of a mentor figure. Was he
Yeah.
older than you?
He
He
helped
was
me.
he was much older than you, right? He was
He
you said
was
he was
60.
60.
Yeah. Here's another thing I used to do. I mean, during that period, I was agonizing over what I was going to do with my life. What am I going to do with my life? I mean, writer was one of the things, but even I mean, I'd say, Bob, just point me in a direction, I'll go into it in depth, and I just could not get any answer from Baba. And so this was kind of an ongoing thing in me. And then I would go to see him, and he'd ask me, "Well, what are you going to do with your life?" And I said, "Well, I don't know." "You don't know?" And he just, lay into me. Like, you idiot, I mean, like that. And I walk out of there completely free of that problem for about a month. I mean, it just knocked it out of me. Basically, he would just take my worst imagining and throw it back at me. I'd walk out and I'd be like, free. And then it would kind of build up after a month, and I'd go in there and he'd say, "Well, what are you going to do with your life, huh?" And he would just lay into me, and I'd walk out, God, free of that thing.
He was preparing you to work at the center.
Yeah. He was something really mindless.
So you can't do anything else. Everything was getting out of you. So you're ready to leave it in the center for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I mean, I would say he helped me immensely. I mean, I think I've shared this with you before, though, how I came to even meet him. Did I tell you guys that?
I haven't heard that.
Oh, I don't remember.
Was on 72nd Street, right?
Well, no, this is I was out in Seattle.
Oh.
And my whole thing there was I vowed never to work again. I mean, the experience I had of Baba was so expansive that it was absurd to go back into that world that I had just left and get a job. You know, I just like, so I just bummed around Seattle and, you know, go out and pick blueberries. And I had a bunch of friends. We'd make these big soups and just crash here and there. And I was a smoker, and I found out where you can get cigarettes that are partially smoked. You know, at elevators, people, you know, elevator companies, they got to put their cigarette butt out, or bus stops, you know, like a bus stop, so they got to put it out. Now they come along and gather up the cigarettes. I was, anyway, in fact, during that period, one time my dad came down from Vancouver, BC, where my folks lived up there, and he came down, he took me aside and said, son, he knew I was, you know, going kind of focused on Baba kind of day and night and everything. And he said, son, by Eastern standards, you may well be working overtime, but when you're going to get a goddamn job? You know, and it just cracked me up. I mean, my dad, well, they weren't pushing, but he was kind of putting the whole thing in perspective. By Eastern standards, you may well be working overtime. But anyway, one day I woke up, you know, after this whole kind of group of people, and we had a wonderful life together. And this message came to me that I had to leave Seattle by noon. I mean, this doesn't normally happen to me. I told my friends, I have to leave. I have to go. This whole scene that we've had for a year and a half, I am gone. And I thought, well, maybe I'm supposed to go to Myrtle Beach. So I went up to Vancouver. I got a drive-away car. You know what a drive-away car are? You know, that people pay people to drive. You get to drive the car, and all the gas is paid for, and you get to take it across the country. So I got a drive-away car to New York. So I went across Canada and came down to New York. When I got to New York, I looked up in the phone book. I thought I was finding the Society for Avatar Mayor Baba. That was the earlier Baba group. I think it was started by Elizabeth and Norina. But instead, I got the Society for Avatar Mayor Baba. And I called up thinking I was getting the Monday night group, but it's a Baba group. And I said, is anybody going to Myrtle Beach? Because I thought that's what I was being called to go to Myrtle Beach. And Anna Rosa was the one that answered, and she said, she asked around because there were a number of young people around at the Harry's, at the Baba Center there and his office. And she said, she asked around, no, nobody's going to Myrtle Beach, but there is one of Baba's Mandali here. Would you like to meet him? I said, sure, you know, so I got on the next subway and I came down. Harry was in his office seeing the patients, and I was in the waiting room. When I was in there, boy, the vibrations, and I thought, wow, this guy is really something, because I was seeing all sorts of different lights and radiations and everything. I'm thinking, wow, who is this guy? And when he saw his last patient, I went in. Oh, wait, I forgot to tell you something. When I was in Seattle, we used to have these parties, but there were only two of us that were into Baba, but we used to have these parties, these gatherings. And this buddy of mine and I, we were both devoted to Baba, we would, from time to time, we would feel a presence coming from a corner of the room. You know, and we'd feel it was kind of a loving presence, but I knew it wasn't Baba. We were new to Baba, so it was kind of a little bit, it would normally be kind of odd, but, you know, maybe this is what Baba's life is like. But there was someone in the corner who would look in on us at these gatherings. Sometimes I would feel that this, whoever the presence was looking at one of my eyes, and one of my eyes would be like, tears would be coming down one of my eyes. I could feel some work being done on one of my eyes. I was new to Baba, so, you know, well, maybe this is part of the whole thing here. Uh, and then after about 45 minutes, we look at each other and said, the thing is gone. And then like maybe a month later, the thing would be over there looking at, a presence over there looking at us. And then it would be gone. So anyway, so when I got there and I went in, finally Harry saw his last patient and I went in. And that desk right over there is what is his desk. That's where I first met him, on that desk.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And I sat there, and he proceeded to tell me everything I had been doing for the previous 5 years of my life. Embarrassing details and everything. I mean, he just like, well, did you do that? Well, you did, you know what I mean? And I'm saying, yes. And my God, this guy knew me so well. And I knew that he wasn't psychic. I kind of felt, psychic is a little bit different. It was like he saw me. I realized later he was that presence that was looking in on our gatherings there in Seattle. So, I mean, he was an amazing guy. But I think Baba linked me up like that because he was a great help to me at an internal level. I'll say this, even though this doesn't necessarily pertain to everybody, but when I was in Seattle, the vibrations, the drug vibrations and everything would give me headaches and up and down my spine. It was like being attacked. I'd be just walking around the university district, and it was very painful and everything, but there was nothing I could do about it. But when I got there to Dr. Kenmore's, being around him, all that went away. And it never came back. Just his presence. And his presence was so refined that when I was there, he dissolved almost like 95% of my physical awareness. So I was just like, I would tell my friends, hey, I only weigh about a hand. I only weigh about 5 pounds here. I couldn't, they say, wow, you walk on air. I couldn't feel my feet, I felt like I was, but I wasn't spaced out. I mean, I was like present, and it didn't matter whether I was physically with him or away from him. His radiation was so refined. Even his anger when he kind of lay into me was so refined, I didn't feel shamed at all. So anyway, one of the things that I learned, and this is something this is the one thing that most valuable thing he taught me, just by osmosis, is, people kind of protect themselves from the world and different people or different. Harry's was, get your force field so strong and flow out to life. Flow out, don't, I'm not saying this is, everyone should adopt this, but he kind of brought home to me, flow out through everything. Don't let anything stop you from flowing. Reverse, don't be in a protective mode, but flow through everyone and everything. Now, like I say, that reversing that current prevented me from the heavy drug vibes that were hitting me. But it's, I don't know, like I say, I don't know if I could recommend that for everybody, but it is there might be a time when flowing out through everything there's a time to do that.
What does that mean? Flowing through everything.
Well,
what
Darwin.
did?
Huh? Yeah.
What did you do to flow? I don't quite understand.
Well, this brings up Darwin that I met after this. There is an invisible current in each of us, an invisible current, a flowing current in us that emanates from the heart. Now, Darwin used to say that inner current for most people is going toward I, me, and mine. Me. It stops that current. It's reversing that current and flowing out to the world and flowing into Baba. It's a current. Say, for example, right now you might be in a flowing state. And then what if somebody came banging at your door, right now at this late at night? Suddenly, something would stop. And it's that current would stop. So you know that right now you're emanating a current, but if that bang at the door, you would notice that you must have been flowing before the door banged because now that current is stopped. Does that make sense?
So is it even possible to not have that reaction, that recoil, when there is such a kind of, the lizard part of our brains immediately goes into fight or flight or
Yeah.
freeze. And so I assume that maybe that's natural, because I've had that happen to me where I was like kind of really kind of focusing with Baba, and then all of a sudden somebody rang my doorbell or somebody showed up very strangely, and it definitely pulled me out, or I just recoiled. I felt my heart close up very
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah. And what Darwin would say is you got to reverse the current. When it stops, you got to not just say, oh, that jerk, I don't want to have anything to do with him. You got to flow through them.
Right.
Flow toward them and through them, but this is at an inner level. Externally, you may have to keep a distance from somebody, but this is at an inner level.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
Bob,
usually what happens, like you meet this, I think once you use that term called energy vampires, like those people who suck your energy and all that, and then you suddenly we try to create a shield and protect ourselves from them. So that is what it is like. You just means the flowing out is not all the time, and certain times we just create a shield and we want to stay protected.
Yeah, and I think that's a most practical thing. But if you can move up to the other level at some point where you can flow through even the energy vampires.
But how do you go to that level where you can, because once it's like on a normal level, like where I am, it's not possible. It may not be possible. I mean, I think Harry might be at such a level where he could do that, and he might have that kind of energy or that kind of vibrations that could transcend everything and neutralize any other things that were around.
Yeah. It's at the heart level. I mean, but I guess you could call it your force field, and you become aware of that. I mean, even Erich impressed that upon me, to be concentrated on that heart level, and the vitality at that level, so that it doesn't diminish. It remains strong, so that it can flow through everything. I mean, with Harry, probably all the negativity of the world were just like nickels and dimes in front of the force that was emanating from him.
Yes.
Not that he was using it, it was just emanated from him.
So then, Jeff, does that have anything to do with what Darwin would, when he would talk about Baba's love grace? He would say Baba's love grace, lets those entanglements sort of be dissolved. It's by Baba's, like, letting that flow through you. I don't know if that's the right terminology, but I just remember that term.
I would say all of this is coming from Baba. It's emanating from Baba through you.
Right. But what did he say? What did he mean when he said love grace?
That
He didn't
that's what
say
it.
he didn't say loving, like loving grace, but he said like Baba's, he's like, just let Baba's love grace flow through you. And I was like, huh. And I more like felt what he meant rather than really
Yeah.
intellectually.
That I mean that was a term I think that Darwin
I
used.
think it's a
Uh,
gift of love from Baba.
Yeah.
Grace is a gift, so it's a gift of
It's
love from
it's
Baba.
I mean you could say grace. It's kind of defining grace, giving it another adjective.
right,
Someone think grace might be that you're helped out. God's grace helped me. This is actual that grace plus the love. I
right,
mean, he would Darwin would refer to Baba's glances as love glances. You know, because it just
mm,
defines it more clearly. What you got from Baba when he looked at you was a
right.
glance of love, a love glance. But it's in this
Yeah,
area. I'm get up here. It's in this area where Erich, impressed upon me to work on that area so that it's kind of strong and has substance. And I find Baba's name is one of the best things in your spare time. Baba's name, not up here, Baba, 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 but, Baba,
Yeah.
Baba, or with the breath, in breath, in your
You know,
spare time. It creates a, a force field of Baba's love.
but for me, what helps a lot, Jeff, is the party. I had the proof today because I was in a funky mood since Monday.
Yeah,
Things happen with people, just things happen from people and me and whatever, some
yeah,
negativity that I was getting, and with that, shut me down. It was like I was very influenced by that. I couldn't hold that. I couldn't handle, well enough. So I was like shut down to the corner,
yeah,
with three things that happened with three different people. And yesterday I couldn't even do arti. I was in such a funky mood. That was here, the arti was on, but I was walking around the house, doing this. I was very anxious.
yeah,
But today, I kind of, got better, a little better, and I went to walk in the beach, and then I came here. I came back home, and I turned the arti. Oh my God, not even half hour.
yeah,
Maybe 15 minutes later, I was totally different. I was like, everything, all the anxious, all that was gone from me. I was like, oh, and I looked Baba's picture and I start crying. I said, Baba, it's just only you can do that,
yeah,
nobody else.
yeah. Beautiful.
It's like take with the hands. Baba did that several times with me. Like take it with his hands, like he takes from me with his hands and he throws away,
Yeah, yeah,
It's unbelievable, the power of this,
yeah. And the power of the prayers, just
Yeah.
to clear you out, open up. The thing that Erich used to say about the Master's Prayer, for example, is the mind wants to make everything finite. It wants to reduce things to a formula. It wants to pin everything down. But the Master's Prayer just blows the top off of everything. O
Yeah.
Parvati God, the preserver and protector of all. You are without beginning and without end. I mean, like, what? The mind can't do anything beyond imagination and conception. Unlimited. I mean, all of the attributes of the Master's Prayer just keeps knocking the ceiling off of your thinking mind. I
Yeah.
mean, and Erich gave the figure like you're going up, say, Seclusion Hill, and the mind will just keeps, normally you they have these switchbacks. You switch back and you go back and forth until you reach the top. But what happens with the mind is you kind of go up to a certain height and then you start going back and forth, but you're just going back and forth on the same elevation. You're not moving up. You've kind of got it all pinned down, you're just going over the previously trodden path. You're not going higher. But he said the Master's Prayer lifts the lid off of the mind that wants to make everything finite and pin it down, and
Right.
infinite knowledge, infinite power, all of that. So it's very good. It frustrates the mind no end.
Yeah. I think there's something really special about us all doing it together at
Yeah,
the same time.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for me, it's much more powerful than if I do myself,
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we do it together, it's so powerful. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of that, it creates a force field. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
speaking
yeah.
kind of
Energy field. Yeah.
figuratively, but it does.
Everybody's in the focus in the same, like in the samadhi, when everybody's doing the prayers
Yeah.
together. It's like, it's such
Even,
everybody's focused in the same thing,
yeah.
Everybody's mind is there. So it creates that energy field of love, that is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just actually found a recording, that recording you're talking about of Harry Kenmore saying the prayers. It's pretty, he's
Oh, you did it? Alan,
yeah,
did you find it?
yeah, it's on YouTube, and actually check out what Baba said about Harry saying these prayers.
Put it on full barrel too.
Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys?
Okay.
Are you up for it?
Yeah.
Can you do that?
Yeah, it's so Baba says prayers should be from the heart. It does not matter whether they are said loudly or softly. They should be natural. For Harry, it is natural to say them loudly. If he had to say them softly, it would not be natural for him. Mayor Baba.
Wow. Baba
Yeah, and
said
one
it.
time someone said to him, Harry told me, someone said, can't God hear you? You don't have to say it so loud. So the next time he did it with Baba over there, he was over at Guru Prasad, so he did it kind of more quietly. And afterwards, Baba took him to task. Why did you do it quietly,
Man.
So Baba, yeah.
All right, let's see if I can get this the sound with this. Hopefully I can. Share computer sound.
It's amazing what you guys can do.
So do you see this?
Yeah, there he is.
I think I need to move closer. I need to move closer to my internet. But you see the screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me
Alan,
if you can.
Alan, can you make it full screen?
Yeah, I just want to test the sound real quick. Tell me if you can hear the first words. Did you hear that?
No,
No,
we can't hear
it
the
can
sound.
be a
Very
little louder.
faintly.
Very faintly. Let's see if I.
Maybe your computer sound, you may have to.
Let's see if this works. Just say yes if you can when you hear it.
O Pavardiga,
Yeah.
the preserver and protector of all. You are without beginning and without end, none dual beyond comparison, and none can measure you. You are without color, without expression, without form, and without attributes. You are unlimited and unfathomable, beyond imagination and conception, eternal and imperishable. You are indivisible, and none can see you, but with eyes divine. You always were, you always are, and you always will be. You are everywhere. You are in everything, and you are also beyond everywhere and beyond everything. You are in the firmament and in the depths. You were manifest and unmanifest on all planes and beyond all planes. You were in the three worlds and also beyond the three worlds. You are imperceptible and independent. You are the creator, the Lord of lords, the knower of all minds and hearts. You are omnipotent and omnipresent. You are knowledge infinite, power infinite, and bliss infinite. You are the ocean of knowledge, all-knowing, infinitely knowing, the knower of the past, the present, and the future. And you are knowledge itself. You are all merciful and eternally benevolent. You are the soul of souls, the one with infinite attributes. You are the trinity of truth, knowledge, and bliss. You are the source of truth, the ocean of love. You are the ancient one, the highest of the high. You are Prabhu and Parameshwar. You are the beyond God and the beyond God also. You are Parbrahma, Allah, Ilahi, Yazdan, Ahura Mazda, and God, the beloved. You were named Hijab, the only one worthy of worship.
Wow.
There we go.
Wow, that was incredible.
Yeah.
And
He was like,
and that's only about a tenth of what the experience was like. I mean,
That-
because your heart would even be frightened to hear it'd be like an avalanche dumped on you, you know.
Like you said, Jeff, some Mandali thought that it was just a little too much. And I think they complained to him, saying that, why don't you make it more softer? And that's when...
It was Prakash, it was Barucha, not Mandali. Barucha
oh,
does.
okay, Barucha, okay.
Yeah. Then Baba, he started telling me. Yeah.
Okay. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow, that was great, Alan.
Yeah. And like I say, if you were in the same room with him, there wasn't anything left in the room except, you know, a bunch of empty shells sitting in seats or whatever, standing there.
There's another guy who was like that also, you know, what's his name again? The other man who, Baba, who also had a very strong voice, and he would like shout loud when he says the prayers. He passed away not too long ago. What's his name again? Henry Kashauri.
Henry Kashaudi. Oh, I didn't know that he did it very loud.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, I never saw, but you know, I heard that he was kind of very powerful, you know, speaker.
Yeah, he was very fiery.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff.
Yeah.
The presently one person who does the similar way of the prayer with, that is none other than Alan Wagner. He does prayers similar to that of Harry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could be in the tomb there, but he's only about 1:20.
12 o'clock in the afternoon, yeah.
Yeah. But like I say, Alan Wagner is only about 1/20th the decibels. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he goes on to really give you the prayer of repentance.
Yeah.
Pretty intensely.
I personally like to do them by myself because I like to think about each thing, you know, and I need a little more time to think of the, you know,
each word
in the three worlds and also beyond the three worlds. I have to kind of do something experientially in myself with that.
Think about it. Yeah.
Each time. Yeah, I mean, where is that place in me that's beyond creation, and then there's creation, you know? You are imperceptible and independent. Where is that place? I mean, that place is within us.
Yeah.
So he's moving, creation and then beyond creation.
Well, when you're bringing that up, it reminds me when Baba said to dress our soul with Baba, and that for me makes me go inward.
Yeah.
I don't know where I go. I don't know where to go though.
Yeah. Those
How
are.
do I? Yeah.
I mean, I would say. I mean, I felt that the Master's Prayer is a description of our own self at the level of the spirit. That's a description of the spirit, without form, without beginning, without end, non-dual, beyond comparison. I mean, all the attributes of where we're of who we really are the same as those, except that we are not the creator, we're not the Lord of Lords. There are few things in there that we're not, but everything. So many of those things are who we are at the deepest level. I mean, that's the way I take it.
There is somebody who said they relate that prayer uh, with the 10 states of God, as in God speaks. And then they would try to visualize each step of the process.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And which actually made sense to me sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just about to say that before I had read God Speaks and I was saying the prayers, I felt like I was saying for the longest time, like even when Adrian first showed me the prayers and I was saying them before I was a Baba lover, I thought that we were saying this to Baba, who was outside of ourselves, and I was like, well, this is kind of strange. Like, why are we calling him? This is before I was Baba. I was like, why are we calling him O Pravartigar? He is the preserve. It felt like we were making this ode to this great one that was outside. And then I read God Speaks, and it just totally made it go from. It was a different perspective. It was like it was just a prayer. It was just yeah, I don't know how to explain it. It's not even like a prayer to me. It's just
You
inside
kind
out.
of internalized it more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can do the prayers any way you want, but like I say, that after a time, but it does dissolve a lot of the limiting thought that our mind wants to keep doing. It wants to pin things down. It wants to formulate them and all that.
Yeah. Today I heard a story about prayers, and they said if one does not do it with all their heart, then it actually can create more bindings. And the story has to do. I mean, you all probably know this story, but it has to do with somebody. This is, I don't know. The scene is probably somewhere in Arabia or someplace, and there is this king who wants to celebrate a particular event on a particular day, and then he forces everybody in the town to gather at a particular place of worship, which is a mosque, and then the gods of the king go around and bring everybody there, and then many come, but there's one gentleman out in the jungle who refused to come. He says, I don't want to come, I don't want to be part of this. But then the gods insist, and then somehow they bring him around, and then he comes to this particular place of worship. After that, there's going to be a big feast and all that stuff. But before that, there would be a prayer. So he goes to attend the prayer, and then the priest would be reading from Quran, and then praise to God. And then he does all this, and then suddenly this man who was brought from jungle, apparently is saintly, and then suddenly he starts shouting. He says, your God is under my feet, or something like that.
Yeah, your damn God is under my feet.
Yeah, you're under my feet. And then that's obviously is blasphemous at that time. So the king would order this man be executed, and then he gets killed. I mean, obviously he gets executed, but the king is also a little sort of perhaps a little in the line of being, spiritual. So he feels bad for having done this. And then he wants to find out as to why this man said whatever he said at that particular place. And then he calls a priest and he says, tell me what happened when you were doing this prayer and so on and so forth. Maybe I'm not saying it right, Jeff. If you have a better version of this.
This was a Aurangzeb.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. I mean, why don't you?
I guess that was Hazrat Nizamuddin, right? So,
Is that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, so the king is remorseful, and then he would ask the priest to figure out, clearly ask him, why did this man shout the way he did? And then the priest admits, I was thinking about my daughter's wedding that is coming after this particular event. And I was worried about the money that I had to gather for her and all that stuff. And, and then the king says, well, he thinks a bit, and then he says, well, I mean, why not we find out where this man stood on that particular day? And they figure out the place where he was, and then they have the place dug. And then lo and behold, they find the huge treasure of chest that has gold and this and that and all that stuff. And I guess that's what they find out later. So that's the moral of the story is, if you don't do the prayer with all your heart, then you're actually praying for all of the things that you have in mind at the time of doing the prayer.
Yeah.
And I mean, so that's I guess.
So just to interrupt there is an important point from that story. Actually, what it is that the thought that you have when you are bowing down is so important, and because you are actually bowing down to that thought. So even if you're bowing down to Baba and you have that money in your mind, you're actually praying to money and not to Baba. So the thought which you had when you bow down to Baba or anything is so important. And in this, he was actually, though he was praying outside, the priest, all that he was bowing down to is the money, because he wanted money.
Very good.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
And see, this came to Aurangzeb maybe a year later. He felt very uneasy, and he couldn't explain why. And he kind of sensed that he may have beheaded a lover of God, a real lover of God. So that's when he tracked it back down to this particular mosque. And then in atonement, because Aurangzeb was religious, kind of orthodox religious, when he died, he wanted his bones, all his bones, brought to the tombs of various of the perfect masters in atonement. So his bones are scattered all around, and some are, I think, in Ahmednagar itself, in atonement for having beheaded a lover of God. His name was Sarmad. And I've quoted this before. This is a line from Sarmad where he says, in the battle of love, none but the lovers are slain. The weak and wicked escape from injury. O you who are the true lover, flee not from the battle. Those who are not killed are dead to love. And he paid with his life. In the battle of love, none but the lovers are slain. The weak and wicked escape from injury. O you who are the true lover, flee not from the battle. Those who are not killed are dead to love. What a thing to say. I mean, that gets Lanita a little scared over there, I can tell.
Is it the killing of the mind, the death of the mind that the poet talks
I
of?
was just thinking about this word, trying to process.
What were you saying?
So Jeff, isn't he saying the death of the mind, the killing of the mind? That of the lower self, or is it like of life? Because the poet understands.
Flee not from the battle. Those who are not killed are dead to love. I mean, it's always the death of the lower self, the false self. But sometimes it's done by being willing to sacrifice your actual life, as he did. In other words, he made this stand for the truth. Your God is under my feet. I mean, I'm sure he must have known that wasn't going to go over big with the Sultan of, or whoever, whatever Aurangzeb was.
Well, you know that when that last, what was the last sentence or the last two sentences of that?
Those who are not dead. Wait. In the battle of love, none but the lovers are slain. The weak and wicked escape from injury. O you who are the true lover, flee not from the battle. Those who are not killed are dead to love.
So it's almost, for me, it's like a play on, yeah, it's like when you really, for me, it's like it's saying to me that the more you love God and the more that you are getting closer to the truth, that everything in this physical world will seem to be falling apart, and like you're the one that's getting killed or killed off, like the good, like all the good in this world is being killed off, but really we have no idea what God's will is really doing. And those who aren't killed or dead to love, that's a real.
Yeah, and those who have love are killed. Those who have love are killed, but they're killed in the sense that they are annihilated.
Yeah.
And they realize God. They realize themselves.
Do you remember that quote of Baba saying, he said, those my close friends or my close ones, I stab them slowly or something?
Yeah.
What is that? Yeah. What is that phrase?
Yeah.
It's this, I guess. I kill my friends and nourish my enemies.
Yeah.
That's what Baba said, right?
I kill my friends and nourish my enemies.
There was a famous story where Saint Teresa of Avila, she was traveling with her nuns, from one convent to another. They had a cart and supplies and everything. And in the middle of this, it was a huge rainstorm, and they got stuck in the mud with this wagon, and it's cold and horrible, and they were all barefooted, and at one point Saint Teresa went off to the side and said, please, said to Jesus, why did you let this happen? We're only trying to serve you, and look what happens. We're stuck here. We're whatever. She complains to him. And then this is the line. Jesus said, but this is the way I treat my friends. And Saint Teresa said, it's no wonder you have so few of them. The famous line.
Wow, that's a beauty.
No, really. I mean, it's no wonder you have so few of them. There was a meeting with Saint Catherine of Siena. She was another Catholic saint, Christian saint that Baba liked. And in a vision of Jesus, she said to him, "Who am I, and who are you?" And Jesus said, "I am he who is, and you are she who is not."
I saw her head. I don't know if she was beheaded, or I don't know if they, after she died, they cut her head. But at the church, in Siena, in Italy, there's a church. That's her church. That's her name. And then we knew that, somehow we knew that her head was there, you know. And then I went with Jennifer Tinsman and a bunch of other people. So we are there. And I said to them, I don't want to see her head. I don't want to see that, you know, because it was like, you know, was all like weird, you know. So I was walking, I was kind of a little dark inside. I was walking. And I had in my head, I don't want to see her head. Next thing I know, I turned my head like this, and there she is.
Yeah. Was the head detached from the body, or?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh yes, it was just the head. It was
Wow.
placed in something that, of course, was protected. There was like fiberglass, and there was a cord around, but it was near. You know, you could see her.
Yeah.
I got
Why did you preserve the head?
because I don't want to see the extinctions right there in front of me. The face was like, oh, like, you know,
Yeah.
weird.
But why?
But the body of saints, you know, I mean, they say don't decompose. You know, they just.
Yeah, but she was beheaded before when she was alive, or they cut her head after she died. I don't know the story.
I don't think she was beheaded.
No? Okay. Because, you know, back in the days, you never know, you know.
Hey, so what do you think at the end here? Can you go get Adrian to get her to sing that song?
Yeah, I can ask.
She probably sleeping.
Tell
Oh,
her.
no. Really
Yeah. Well, hey, wait, Lenita, in a couple of minutes.
Huh?
In a couple of minutes, hopefully Adrian will sing this song. Then we'll close.
Well, I have to go.
You have to go?
12:16 already. Well, she comes now. I don't know how long it's going to take for her to get ready to sing. She stays too long, then I got to go. I see her. She's coming. Then I can go to the Effort and Grace and see her. She's going to play at Effort and Grace next Sunday.
I'm hoping that she will, yeah. Yeah, so you can hear it then, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Good.
Okay, bye, guys. Thank you for everything. It was,
See you, Lenita.
fun.
Bye,
Yeah.
Lenita.
Bye.
Bye. Kayla. Oh, Payan, you were there. You're still
I'm
there.
here.
Look at you.
I'm
You're
listening.
quiet there.
I have a messy kitchen. Look, I'm
Bye,
cleaning.
Kayla.
Anyway, I listened to
Yeah.
Hey, Baba.
Bye. Jai Mahambara. Jai Baba. Have a good
Jai
day.
Meher Baba.
So,
There's a question that came up to me. Maybe we can discuss this time or next time also. That's fine.
what's
Whenever.
that?
Sorry?
What
I was having a question,
yeah.
and so I was thinking, like, should we discuss now or next time? Anyway, it's fine. So
Well, put it out now. I mean, bring it out now. Just
yeah, it comes from a message which Baba gave, and I was just thinking about this, having this affirmations. Then, like, people do have this affirmations and everything, and they say that works and everything. So here is some message that Baba said, like it was given to a specific person. Say to yourself, I am meant to be happy to make others happy, and gradually you do become happy yourself and make others happy too. Don't suggest to your mind, I am tired, haggard, depressed. That will make you feel worse. Always say, all is well and beautiful, I will be happy. So here Baba is giving the affirmation. So did any of the Manli or anybody say anything about having affirmations? Because I know for sure, like that, maybe it moves away the focus from remembering Baba, and then you focus on those affirmations. So because I was like, the focus then, like when we are remembering Baba, it's better to leave everything to Baba and just keep remembering him. But having this affirmations might just move the focus from remembering Baba. Did Mandli or anything say anything on that?
Well, you see, the whole process of affirmations actually works, but people use it. They want to manifest abundance. You know, you probably heard that, and so they want to have a car, or they want to whatever. These things work, but what Baba's saying there is use the power of affirmation to use it to live more surrendered to Him. In other words, say an affirmation, help me to be more patient. You know, make the affirmations that have to do with being drawing closer to Baba. That's the use. That's the best use of the word. The best use of that dynamic. You follow? In
Yes.
other words, there are the divine qualities. You know, manifest that I'm more generous, that I'm more patient, that I'm more empathetic. Those are safe affirmations, and rather than just say, "Oh, I'm not going to ask Baba for anything," you know, and I'll just take whatever I get. That's all right, but the power of affirmations. I'm going to look at life more optimistically. Because why? Because Baba wants me to. You know, he wants us to. So you're taking advantage of that power of affirmation. It's a true thing because you're appealing to the universal mind, and it will grant you what you want. But make sure what you want it to grant you is to be able to love Baba more deeply and surrender more deeply to Him. You follow?
Yes.
And
And
that,
I was just like, yeah, to add to it, I follow what you say. Like, use it for that would help to us to get closer to Baba. Use that affirmations that help to imbibe those divine qualities and grow in them to feel more loving, more compassionate. Yes. And when I relate to that, those affirmations, here is what one of the quotes from Mani, which she says, Baba said to us, you either want what you want or you want what I want. You can't want both.
yeah.
So that's again saying that let's leave it to Baba. It's like just leave it to Baba and remember him. This quote says as simple as that. So
But you can ask him to want what he wants.
What he wants.
You know what I mean? You can say, Baba, help me to want what you want. And he will respond. Yeah. Hey, Alan, did you twist her arm or did it work?
Yeah, I tried. She's got to go to bed.
Okay.
Yeah.
But also, if she feels like it on next Sunday at about 10 to 7, if she wants to come on Effort and Grace, I mean, that would be, your time would be 4, 10 to 4 or something like that. She's welcome. If she's there, it'd be beautiful if she would sing the song, but there's no pressure to do it.
Which one? She wanted to know which one did you mean? What is the one that's bluer than blue, or that newest
Well, that's
one?
a beautiful one too. I was going to have her. I meant to ask you last time to have her sing that, but then I heard this other one, Singing and Surrender.
Sing and Surrender.
Yeah, something like that.
Yes, I think that's, yeah. I don't think there's another one that she has that has the same lyrics, so I'm pretty sure that's, yeah. I can ask her.
Yeah.
She said she can do that most likely. Yeah.
More than welcome.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I mean, because these are songs that are coming from a very deep and moving place within her. She is a hit on something. Those two songs are they're very touching. I mean, they're just she's got her own kind of Kowali type of song form that's coming through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful songs.
Yeah. Hey, well, let's
Jeff,
yeah.
Jeff, when you started in the morning about the birds, I thought you were going to talk about the birds conference, one of the Sufi poets who has written. I thought you might be saying that is Fariduddin Athar or something like that.
Yeah, no.
I thought. I first morning I felt like that. That's one of the beautiful poems according to the Sufi theory.
Yeah.
That is Birds Conference. I think Farishta or Payam can throw better light on us
Yeah, that's
about
a
that.
beautiful
Yeah,
word called the Conference
yeah.
of Birds. Hey,
Conference of Birds.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess it's
It's time to.
until we meet again, Nasreen.
Yes.
We're going to close the shop.
Yeah.
Yes.
Payam.
Opens tomorrow.
Marge, are you there?
I'm here.
Sometimes she goes and rests and hears this in the background. Michaela, great to see you.
Yeah, you too, Jeff. Jai
Yeah.
Baba.
Avatar, Meher Baba ki jai 3 times.
Avatar Meher Baba ki jai.
Avatar,
Meher Baba ki jai.
Avatar, Meher Baba.
Baba.
Ki jai.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you,
Good
Jeff.
night. Thank you. Wonderful.
Thank you, Jeff.
See you guys. Yeah.
Thank you, Jai. Jai Baba.
Jai Meher Baba.
See you tomorrow.